This is the restoration project that you were assigned, and I'm going to show you how to kind of do it. Just like if you were restoring any photograph, you'd go through the similar steps. Our job is to fix this photograph so it's acceptable. I'm going to show you one that was done by Taylor Eckman, which was a nice job. So basically, she was able to create this from this. And so in order to do it, it's kind of a tedious job, but also you learn how to restore photographs. So the two tools we're going to be using are the healing brush and also the cloning tool. Now, just so you understand the difference between the two, remember, a cloning tool gives you an exact copy. You'll set your mark with your Alt and then click your left mouse button, and it will copy exactly from that mark to wherever your cursor is. And so it's going to be exactly the same, and you'll get a lot of fine texture that way. So sometimes you want to use that, sometimes you don't. The other tool, which is the healing brush, that is a blend. You'll set your mark the same way, Control, and then click with your left mouse button. And then when you move it, what it will do is it will take the selection from where you set your mark to where you're using the tool, and it will blend those two areas and average it out. The only problem with this tool is sometimes you do not get the fine detail that you would get with the cloning tool. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. Now, the first thing you always want to do is you want to blow your photograph up. So you want to make it fairly big. And what I would do is, and how I always do this, is I always take it to the edge, and then I always take it to the bottom. And what I'll do is I'll work my way up and fix it as I go. And then when I get to the top, I'll move it over a little bit and overlap just a little bit. And then I'll start working down. And I'll just repeat this process down, over, and then overlap a little bit and come back up. And then that's how you should fix your photograph. Now, you're going to be using both the cloning tool and also the healing brush. So there's a time and a place to use each one. Now, the size of your brush on both of them are controlled up with the variables up on top. And so the size of the brush, you can make it bigger or smaller. The hardness is you're going to get a hard edge or a soft edge. I suggest that you most of the time use a soft edge brush. Now you set your mark, you'd set it in a clean area. So let's say I wanted to do this area right here. I'd hold my Alt down, I'd click my left mouse button. Now it'd set a mark right there. Now when I click it, you can see the little X below it a little bit. So it's going to copy from there and it's going to blend the two. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to clean that area up. And so you're going to take your time and you just want to kind of clean that area. Now, when I get to this line here, that's when I would want to use my cloning tool because I want to do it pretty much exactly the same. Now, we have to be careful because with a brush this big, it's going to pick up things that you don't want. So here I would make it about a little bit, about the size of that line. And I could take it and I could click that line right there, and you'll notice I can maintain that line. And that way I can just come right down that line. And then I could go over on the other side and set my mark, and I could come down that line and fix it. Now you notice I picked up a little bit there, but that's no problem because I could just make my size of my brush a little bit smaller. I would probably go to my healing brush again and clean this up by saying my mark in there, and then I just click in there and just clean that up. So you're going to work yourself all the way up this, trying to get the picture. Now we have to be careful there because it started blending in the blue with the vanilla type color. So what I want to do now is I'm going to show you how you would fix, like there's a time and a place to use the cloning tool versus the healing brush. Now, when you have something that has texture like hair, you really don't want to use the healing brush. What you want to do is use the cloning tool. And the reason being is it gives you more detail. And so that brush is a little bit too big. I would probably blow it up just a little bit more. And so what I would do is set my mark, Alt, click, and then see how it maintains the texture. And again, you want to only do a click at a time. You have to be careful that you don't want to go too fast. So you just have to kind of take your time, maybe work on it for about 10 minutes and then just walk away from it and then come back, and you'll end up with a good job. What you don't want to do is you do not want to start replicating mistakes. If you see yourself making something that doesn't look normal, then you want to back off and don't continue what you're doing. More than likely, what you'll have to do is just reset your mark somewhere else, and it will blend in a lot better. Now, why we blow it up is so when you go ahead and take it out to its normal size, if it looks good when we have it blown up, it's going to look really good once we bring it to the normal size. Now, you're just going to fix your photograph as you go, fixing all these lines. When you get to the outside border, what you want to do is just create a border. You'll notice on Taylor's, what she did, she has a nice clean edge. Well, you can create that real simple. It's not that hard to do. All you do is take your rectangle marquee tool and you create a box. And you create it roughly the size that you would want it. Maybe move it down just a little bit. And then what you want to do is go select inverse. And then you're going to fill that. And you're going to go edit, fill. And then you can pick a color. So go color. And then if you use your eyedropper, come over here to the photograph that you're working on and just click there. It's going to fill that color, which it did. And you go, okay. Boom. And then there you have your border. And it's on the border. But you really wouldn't want to do that until you finish this and work this all the way out. Then you'd put the border in, probably be the last thing that you did, is put that border in. And so that's the details of how to finish up this project. And again, it's a pass-fail. You have to have a good quality photograph that looks good. And that's what we're after.